It's 8-bit, you little shit. That's right, punk. Just rage and quit. I don't care, don't give a fuck. It is time for me to go level up. It's 8-bit, you little shit. That's right, punk. Just rage and quit. I don't care, don't give a fuck. It is time for me to go level up.
So today we're talking about two things that go really well together. We got two peas in a pod, two humps on a camel, dynamic duo, pair of underwear. We got hip-hop and video games. There are so many things that bring these two wonderful creations together. You got Ice Cube in Call of Duty. You got MC Hammer Tiger electronic handheld games. You got Parappa the Rapper. You got Friday Night Funkin', Shaq Fu, Kanye Quest. But today we're going to be talking about just a couple games that connect these two beautiful things together. We're talking about rap games. I'm going to try and go through these games in the order and the years they came out, but really it don't matter. Let's kick this shit off. We're starting off with Rap Jam Volume 1, made by the same studio responsible for another classic game from back in the day, y'all. Bebe's Kids. So you know this is gonna be some good shit. Rap Jam Volume 1 is a very generic basketball game, and it feels like there wasn't really any kind of special theme to it until they decided, you know what's gonna sell cartridges? You know what's gonna really, push hardware? If we put a bunch of famous rappers and stuff in it. Not like you can really tell because the graphics, I mean, look at this shit. You can't make out who's who. The people that you're supposed to be playing as right now, you wanna know who they is? All right, well, you got Public Enemy on one side, and then on the other side, you got Coolio, LL Cool J, and Sticky Fingers. You know, Sticky Fingers, how do you not remember Sticky Fingers? If you're a real hip-hop head out there, and you say you don't know who Sticky Fingers is, then you... Now look, I gotta be honest, I gotta drop a little bit of truth here. I know, it's not something everybody wanna hear, but I'm not very good at basketball games. I mean, I'm good at basketball games, but not video games based on basketball games. Like, if you were to put Space Jam on PlayStation 1 in front of me, I wouldn't fucking know how to do it. But I feel like even for people who are well-versed in video games based on basketball players, this shit sucks. The character you're playing as switches at random. And I'm not just saying that to be funny or like, oh, I don't understand what's going on. No, they actually switch your character you're playing as the level progresses. It just at random switches you from one person halfway across the court, and it really fucks you up. It makes you not know what the hell you're doing. Add to that the controls, even for an SNES and Sega Genesis game, it's really fucking confusing as to what you're supposed to do in order to make trick shots or be able to bump into opponents or pass to fellow players on your team. Like I said, this really feels like a Garden State variety fucking basketball game. And then they decided, hey, you know what the kids are into? The kids are into them hip hops. So let's just get a bunch of famous rappers, we'll put their names on it, and they're gonna pick it up because kids are stupid, right? So fuck this game. We're gonna go from a basketball game to a ninja style fighting game. Much like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, we got Wu-Tang Shaolin style. Now, the makers of this game was originally working on another game, and it was called Wendy's Thrill Kill. But, the studio, they started to get cold feet. They said, this game's a little too violent for us. We don't want a game like this. So then they decided, okay, well, let's try and get some backing from somebody else. And who'd they go to? They went to the Wu. That's right, baby. They got Wu-Tang Clan. You got the RZA, you got the Jizza. This game, it is not very good. That being said, if you want a game that is so bad it's funny, this shit is fucking funny. You have an old ninja master who is on the run, and he ends up coming across the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan, and he tells him that him and his boys are gonna be the ones to stop some kind of evil fucking wannabe Shaolin Asian warlord from taking over. So they have to study ninjutsu like they're the Ninja Turtles, and they gotta take these guys on. And after that, it becomes a fighting game. What I just described is the story mode, and there's a couple other modes that you can play as. You got like a 4-player fighting mode, you got the main game itself, which is just the main fighting mode. And honestly, here's where the game actually sucks. The plot is pretty funny. I mean, even unintentionally so, it's pretty funny. But the actual gameplay, it's not that great. I mean, it ain't no Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, but I will say one of the best things about it is that if you wanted a game like Mortal Kombat that was really graphic and really violent, This game's up there, man. This game is brutal. I mean, shit, man, some of the fatalities in this actually do make the Mortal Kombat games look like child's play in comparison. This is pretty damn brutal, y'all. So yeah, this game feels more like a so bad it's good kind of game. I mean, you know, the graphics themselves ain't very good. The gameplay, it's not that great. At best, it's just a generic Mortal Kombat ripoff type game. But you know what? The fact you got Wu-Tang in there, and Wu-Tang actually do a pretty good job. They do a good job voice acting. The RZA does fantastic. And you know what? While we're on the topic, let's move over to Def Jam Vendetta, which is basically the same kind of thing, except it's a boxing game. It's another fighting game, but it's not like Mortal Kombat where there's more like ninjutsu and Asian style martial arts going on up in here. No, this one's more like a typical wrestling kind of game. The plot of this one is that your boy sets you up to be in a wrestling ring, and you gotta make sure that you win, because if you don't, then your boy's gonna be killed. But that's gonna be real difficult because you're going up against one of the biggest crime kingpins in the syndicate, and you also got your ex-girlfriend who's there, and she don't seem to be wanting you, but you got a bunch of other fine-ass honeys that are trying to get you and get up on your jock. All the while, you gotta get in the ring, you gotta fight, not just a bunch of other guys, but you gotta go up against some of the biggest names in Def Jam Records history. And they really did get all these guys. You got fucking Method Man, you got Redman, you got the late great DMX himself. The controls themselves ain't nothing special, and it probably took me a while to get used to it because I don't play this kind of shit. But you know what? I gotta say, once you get used to it, this game's actually pretty fun. Not only does it help you got some of the master classes of the late 90s, early 2000s hip hop scene from Def Jam in there, but the music in this game is fucking good. And even the characters in this game that aren't based on well-known rappers and musicians, all the characters are memorable. There's so much about this game that's fun and that's easy to remember. Next up is Get On to Mike, and I honestly don't have much to say here. This is just basically a glorified karaoke game with one of the main themes being hip hop, and a lot of classic hip hop is in here. I don't know, man. There really ain't much to say. It's a karaoke game. I mean, if you like these kind of games, good for you. If not, good for you. I don't know. I don't really give a shit about this one, to be honest. 50 Cent Blood in the Sand. So, okay, there was a 50 Cent game on PlayStation 2. It sold really well, so then they decided to make a spiritual successor. And, well, this one, the plot is about 50 Cent going to the Middle East because a Middle Eastern warlord took a skull covered in crystals and diamonds that 50 Cent got for himself. And so 50 Cent goes out to try and find the warlord and has to fight off an army of terrorists. And the game basically plays out like a knockoff Call of Duty with you doing a bunch of first-person shooter shit. And then scattered in between each level, you got boss fights that are basically all the same. Like, you're just trying to take out fucking helicopters. And there's, you know, the occasional driving stage where you're in a Jeep and you're rolling through the desert. The fact that this is a real game, y'all, this is fucking funny. I can't believe this is real. I feel like this game would have been perfect when I was like 13. I feel like this is the kind of game where you're like, yeah, dude, 50 Cent's really cool. He's the tits, man. And then you pick it up, start playing on your Xbox 360, and, you know, it's just like the coolest shit ever, getting hopped up and all fucked up on fucking Doritos and Mountain Dew. That is this kind of game incarnate. This game came out at the right place at the right time, and now everybody's looking back and going, we let this happen as a society. Take the game for what it is. It's a fucking first-person shooter that takes place in the Middle East with 50 Cent trying to get fucking the crystal skull back from some warlord. And I love how halfway through the game, the bad guy is defeated and then they introduce another bad guy who's pretty much the same in every way. Like, why even fucking bother doing that? This game is so stupid, but oh man, I think I kind of love it. But then we end on a game that's just kind of aight. We got Mark Echo's Getting Up, Contents Under Pressure. All right, this one kind of plays out like a knockoff GTA. This one basically is about you going around, living in the inner city, you moved in with your grandmama, and, you know, you're trying to become a carjacker by profession. And most of the game is made up of going around and spray painting stuff. And then you also have to deal with things like you try to carjack someone's car, or you have to get away from other gangs, so you have to do some platforming shit every once in a while. It's pretty much just the poor man's Grand Theft Auto. And I had no fucking clue who Mark Echo was, so I had to look him up, and he's apparently like some fashion guy. I guess he's connected to the music industry. I guess he's into like art, so I guess that connects to the whole spray paint and graffiti thing. I don't know. Honestly, this is just the poor man's GTA. I was just thinking that the whole time. I'm like, man, I could be playing some GTA right now. But, I mean, as a game itself, it's not terrible. It is playable. I mean, and the music's pretty good. That's honestly the only real reason that this game is included, because there's a bunch of hip-hop all throughout the soundtrack. Honestly, this one's a little bit weird. This one doesn't really fall into the same kind of categories as the other ones. It's not like, oh, it's a fighting game with your favorite rappers, or, oh, it's a first-person shooter with your favorite rappers, or a basketball game with your favorite rappers. No, this one is, it's literally just, I don't know. It doesn't really fit. I don't know. This one kind of fits in the same category as Get On to Mike. It's a very generic game, and it made me wish I was playing something else, but I think I like this more than Getting Up Onto Mike, because this one at least felt better. It felt like it was a game that was easy to play. I mean, I wasn't really pissed off while playing it. It just wasn't really anything special either. But anyway, that does it for this little hip-hop video game retrospective. Y'all got any other games you want to suggest? You know, maybe some classics off of the Soulja Boy, everyone's favorite video game console, y'all, the Soulja Boy. Totally not bootleg Nintendo Wii repurposed by Soulja Boy himself. Oh man, if y'all got any classic games off of that, feel free to let me know. I'd love to play them.